another Tuesday night, another day of getting barbecued. Light comes on right behind me as soon as I sit down. Terrific. Gotta love it. Let's see if I can get that out of there. Put my head in front of it a little. Turn you this way. Up. Light went off. Good deal. UFC 280. Oliveira, Makhachev, Aljo versus Dillashaw, O'Malley versus Petr Yan. One of these fights probably not going to make it. You know, when a card is this deep, it's almost 100% that there's going to be some kind of drama. Like the most recent pay-per-view we had where it was supposed to be Chimaev Diaz, and they got all the fights mixed up and shit. I mean, something always happens when you have a card this deep. It's the return to Abu Dhabi. I pray nothing happens. Let's jump right into it. We got Islam Makhachev, dominant grappling, Khabib-style Sambo, international master of sport in Sambo. We'll be fighting Charles Oliveira, black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. 3.5-inch reach advantage over Makhachev. And I'm sorry, he's a third-degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Oliveira's 33-8, 21 wins via submission, 9 wins via knockout. He's been in the UFC since his submission win over Darren Elkins in 2010. He's currently on an 11-fight winning streak, which includes winning his title and then defending it, but he missed weight. So it's kind of weird what happened. His first title defense he was fighting Justin Gaethje, and he missed weight, meaning he couldn't win the title, but he could lose the title. So he won the fight, which vacated the title, which means he can fight a new opponent in his next bout. It didn't have to be Justin Gaethje again, which I'm sure he was happy with. And now he moved on here, and he's fighting Islam Makhachev, which, in my opinion, we're going to take a look really quick at who Makhachev has beat. Makhachev is 11-1 in the UFC, with wins over Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Maes, and Drew Dober being his 4 biggest wins in the UFC. Those are not Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee. Those are not those guys. So to come in here as a favorite against Charles Oliveira, 1, monstrosity. 2, for him to come in as the favorite, fighting nobodies. I mean, everybody's like, oh, he's a clear-cut number 1 contender, clear-cut. And these guys, Bobby Green, no offense to these guys, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Maes, Drew Dober, no offense to them. They're not nobodies or anything, but they aren't top of the division like Gaethje and Poirier and Chandler and Ferguson and Lee, especially at the time that Oliveira fought those guys. At the very, very top of the division. These other guys not there. I don't see Islam's track record being that good. He's got good grappling. His striking, just like Khabib, not on par with other high-level strikers, although Charles Oliveira is not a high-level striker. He is a third-degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. So if the fight does go to the ground, Islam is able to get it to the ground, I think Charles Oliveira is still very, very dangerous if the fight hits the mat. So I'm going to go Charles Oliveira just because I think he has more paths to victory. I think if he stands and strikes with Makhachev, he could win there. And if the fight goes to the ground, I think it's pretty much 50-50, just depending on who can implement their game plan correctly and execute. So I'm going to go the champion, Charles Oliveira, and still, which they're going to say and new no matter who wins because of the missed weight shit, but technically and still. Aljamain Sterling versus CJ Dillashaw. Aljamain Sterling, I believe, in my opinion, has done a really good job of proving that he is the best, if not one of the best 2 or 3 fighters in that division. He is a former Division III wrestler, a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu under Matt Serra. His boxing has significantly improved in his last few fights. He's 21-3, and he's only been finished once. Now is a head kick knockout by Marlon Moraes. Since that loss, he is 7-0, which includes submitting Corey Sandhagen and then back-to-back wins over Petr Yan. Of course, the first one with the controversy, the obvious illegal knee that seemed so on purpose, in which Yan lost his title. The first time we ever seen a UFC champion win a title via disqualification. And then they give him a rematch, and he just dominates. He's obviously had better cardio than Petr Yan. The striking obviously going to be a sore spot, but I mean that grappling, without a doubt, once Aljamain got him on the ground, it was over with. So very dominant wrestling. Boxing is getting better. He's going up against TJ Dillashaw, who is 1-0 since his suspension, and he won a split decision against Corey Sandhagen, which I think he lost. So I don't think he deserves this fight at all. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but he is a former Division I wrestler who's coming into this fight with a 4-inch reach disadvantage against Aljo. He's a black belt in Muay Thai, purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu, 17-4. He's been knocked out in 2 out of 4 of his losses. He's never been submitted in his career. We talked about him fighting Corey Sandhagen when he came back. His only other knockout loss was against John Dodson. And then he has 2 decision losses against Rafael Assunção and Dominic Cruz. So TJ Dillashaw, prior to all this bullshit with him getting suspended, which I really don't understand unless he was just getting away with it for all these years, I can never understand him starting something like that at the peak of his career, where he's fighting for titles and shit like that. So, I don't know, it's weird. TJ Dillashaw's whole situation is weird, but, he's got good takedown defense. He's got good grappling. He's got good striking. He is probably the toughest matchup for Aljamain Sterling in the division outside of Petr Yan, which, in the last fight, Aljamain pretty much handily beat him. So, I'm not even going to flex with anybody. It's bias. I fuck with Aljo. They're from Long Island. I'm from Long Island. I'll pick them no matter what. Same as Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz fights, I'm going to pick him no matter what. Aljamain Sterling fights, picking him no matter what. Marab, picking him no matter what. Matt Serra wants to come out of retirement, picking him no matter what. He could fight fucking Connor coming out of retirement. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick Matt Serra every single day. So I'm going Aljo, if that's not obvious by now. Petr Yan going against Sean O'Malley. Great fight. I think the odds are a little bit skewed here, too. I think they should be a little bit closer just because of the dynamic that the two guys are going to have. Petr Yan obviously going to have power and I don't want to say striking because, there's different levels of the striking that they have, but he's going to have a significant power advantage. He's got good takedown defense. I don't think Sean O'Malley's going to be going for any takedowns or anything like that, so I don't think that really is going to matter. But Yan is 16-3, never been finished, lost 2 decisions and a DQ. He's 8-2 in the UFC. He's only 2 losses against Aljo, disqualification decision. He's got UFC wins over Corey Sandhagen, Jose Aldo, Uriah Faber, Jimmy Rivera, and John Dodson. 7 wins by knockout, 8 wins via decision. Good takedown, power punching, very tough guy. He could take shots. Sean O'Malley is a guy who has sneaky power. He's really skinny, extremely skinny legs. But he's just got like these weird angles of striking, and he rolls kind of his punches a little bit. He's got spin kicks. He's extremely athletic. And he just presents a different type of striking to Petr Yan, who it's not just your traditional boxing. It's not just your traditional kickboxing. It's just unique. He throws different things. He spins. He taunts you. He jumps in the air for no reason. He just, I would say he's kind of like a bantamweight Michel Pereira. Very, very good. Not necessarily capoeira style, but just as far as that, he's just wild. He just does crazy things while he's in the middle of fights. O'Malley's going to have a 4-inch height and a 5-inch reach advantage over Petr Yan. He's 15-1-1 with his only loss being a TKO loss via leg kicks to Marlon Moraes. He's got 11 wins via knockout and a no contest in his last fight due to an eye poke against Pedro Munoz, which he was dominating that fight up until that point. It kind of, people speculated afterwards that it kind of seemed like Pedro Munoz was looking for a way out of the fight. Which you got to understand something like that. You're fighting a guy like Sean O'Malley, comes in, purple hair, green hair. He looks weird. He's as skinny as all fucking get out. He talks a lot of shit. You're hyping yourself up that I'm going to shut him up. I'm going to shut him up. And then you get in there and you're getting beat the fuck up for a couple minutes. Somebody pokes you in the eye, you're going to take the easy way out. You're not going to get knocked out by this kid, this guy that doesn't look like he can knock out anybody. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to sit there and get knocked out by him. You're going to get out of the fight. So it's believable, but no fighter's going to admit it. It's pointless to speculate. But Sean O'Malley was winning that fight. O'Malley is 7-1-1 in the UFC, 5 out of 7 wins via knockout. I think he's very susceptible to the leg kicks, which Petrian, shorter, less reach. I would assume that's probably where he's going to go immediately during the fight is the leg kicks. So I'm going to give it to Petrian just because he's probably going to have a better game plan coming into this fight. But I would not sleep on Sean O'Malley, and I'm not convinced that it should be minus 275 for Petrian. I think it should be a lot closer. So the fourth and last fight that we previewed, Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot, black belt in jiu-jitsu, 21-1-1 pro record. Only loss was a split decision loss to Guram Kulatse. He's on a 4-fight winning streak right now. He's got knockouts over Scott Holtzman and Carlos Diego Ferreira, along with a submission win over Jeremy Stevens, and most recently a decision win over Arman Saryukian. He's got explosive striking, very dangerous on the ground. And a lot of people would say he is very similar to Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush has great jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt. He's got great Muay Thai. He's a black belt in Muay Thai. He's got very, very, very heavy hands. He could hurt you. We've seen Dakar Close was beating him up, had him hurt up against the cage, had him hurt, and then, Beneil Dariush just starts swinging, and those heavy hands land, and next thing you know, Dakar Close is stumbling backwards across the octagon, getting knocked out on the other side of the octagon. So it could switch hands at any moment with Dariush. Dariush is currently on a 7-fight winning streak right now over Tony Ferguson, Carlos Diego Ferreira, Dakar Close, just to name a few. He's got 8 wins via submission, 5 via knockout. And the only time he was ever submitted in his career was by Michael Chiesa in 2016. He's got 2 knockout losses against Edson Barbosa and Alexander Hernandez. I think that Gamrot's got better striking than Hernandez, and Gamrot is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than Michael Chiesa on the ground. I don't say that to take anything away from Michael Chiesa. I just think that Michael Chiesa is more of a grappler, and he wants to get you tired, whereas Gamrot, once he gets you to the ground, is going to be actively, from the time it hits the mat, looking for submissions. He's going to be looking to ground and pound. He's going to be looking for submissions. There's going to be nothing but activity on the ground. It's not going to be like a Michael Chiesa or a Marvin Vittori or a Derek Brunson where they just take you down, they put top pressure on you, they make you carry their weight for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes in a fight, and then with the last 5 to 7 minutes of the fight, they just beat you up because you're tired as fuck. It's not going to be like that. He's gonna be actively going for it, which the odds are pretty close. Minus 195 plus 165. I think the odds are close because Beneil Dariush fights a specific style of fight where he could, at any moment, switch. He could take over the fight. If it's on the ground, Gamrot could be in control, winning. Boom, it could flip like that. Striking, Gamrot could be dominating. Boom, just like that, Dariush can land a shot. So, in my eyes, it's kind of 50-50. I pick Gamrot just because I think he's got youth on his size. Normally, youth translates well to speed and quickness. And those 3 categories right there significantly help you when it comes to grappling with somebody that's just as good as you, and it significantly helps you with striking with somebody that's just as good as you. So I went with Gamrot there. Also on the main card, Caitlin Chikadian and Manan Farhat. I did not preview that fight. Prelims jump off. Beal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. Makhmed Muradov versus Caio Borrello. Nikita Krylov will be fighting Volkan Uzdemir. Zybura Tukurov will be fighting Lucas Almeida. Abrakar Nurmagomedov will be going against Omar Gatziev, maybe that's his last name. Oman Petrosyan is going up against AJ Dodson. Malcolm Gordon fighting Muhammad Mukayev. And then Carol Rosa will be fighting Lena Landsberg to start the card. Very exciting week we got here in Dubai. I don't know what time they're set to start. Maybe I could pull this up quickly on my phone. If not, we're just going to fucking end it. But I think it'll work pretty fast. I think my internet's going decent speed right now. 89 hours. What's that add up to? Oh, shit balls, man. All right, so the prelims kick off 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. The main card starts 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's cool. I hate those kind of cards. I always like something to do on a Saturday night. So I really don't fuck with those kind of cards. But it is what it is. Until next time, you guys stay barbecued. Make sure you tune in Saturday and tune in next Tuesday for whatever the fuck else. But until then, stay barbecued. You guys know what the fuck it is, right?